phase of moon.
Blog Talk Radio.
Third phase of moon.
Welcome back to Third Phase of Moon. This is Blake Cousins speaking to you live right here from the Third Phase of Moon base, stated out of Hawaii. And the team is getting ready to speak to people from around the world in regards to UFOs and the alien agenda. We have a few guests coming in tonight, and if anybody wants to call in and talk to Third Phase of Moon live, you could call 347-934-0378. I'd suggest calling in soon before the lines get tied up and we won't be able to get to you. But if you call in, just hold on and we'll try to get as many people as possible tonight. Our first guest is Robert Bingham, the man who summons UFOs from Los Angeles, California, is going to be doing it again on February 10th, 2013 at the Griffith Park right there in Los Angeles. And we want everybody to show up and bear witness to the man who summons UFOs and see for yourself what he does and bring your cameras, because if you capture anything amazing, you send it to Third Phase of Moon. Now we're going to go straight to Robert Bingham right now, live from Los Angeles.
Hi, Blake. What I wanted to talk about was the technology that I have been, privileged to see throughout my encounters with the UFOs. And it's absolutely incredible with some of the things. What I wanted to say is a lot of their technology is developed to look like things that are normal. Say, for instance, I had an opportunity to see some look like papers that were flying around, and then if you would have just looked at the way they behaved, they could speed up. There was maybe 100 of them in the sky, but they were like part aluminum, and they floated around like papers. So most people, I think, without knowing what they're looking at, would assume they were paper, but they weren't. They were technological stuff, that had the ability to fly as fast as a craft. Also, is a lot of people think that the stuff that some of the photos that I take are what they assume are balloons, which they're not. Naturally, the terrestrials like to protect whatever technology they have, and also they don't want to shake up the things that are going down here on Earth. But for the people like myself that are very observant, they get to see all this stuff, and they will show you.
Well, Robert, you've sent us many video footage back in the day, lots of evidence, lots of videos, a lot of convincing, material that you've shot yourself. We've asked people to show up to your events that you do there in LA, and people bring their own cameras and they send the videos to us. And, we hired a camera crew to show up and, captured amazing things. You've captured massive armadas in the skies over Los Angeles and lots of other things. Tell us about it, Robert.
Well, actually, today I was working on I do security for a TV show, and I spent a lot of time out there watching the equipment. And so I summoned a ship, and one of the guys I work for, his name is Eric, I called him up and said, hey, there's a UFO here, but he was somewhere else in the city setting up some equipment. Anyway, some of the fellows that work on that show came and witnessed this ship. It would look like two ships, but large ships, not very large, but I say pretty large, larger than a good-sized helicopter. And they were just, I don't know what they do, pass energy to each other or whatever, but they were moving very slow, like on a monorail system, and they were very amazed. And I'm able to do this all the time. I don't carry a camera, which I should possibly do, but I'm working. And
well, Robert, one of the most biggest questions we get at Third Phase of Moon in regards to your powers is, do you have any advice on how you could share with other people and how they could actually do this themselves?
I always refer back to the Bible quote, which is, "Knock and the door will be open, and seeking you shall find, and asking you shall receive." And if you diligently do that over and over and show a great effort at doing it, because nothing's easy, God will open them doors, and He will do those 3 steps if you constantly do it. I mean, don't expect it to happen too quick. It takes a lot of work. He wants to see your determination to do something, and that's what I suggest. Also, is when we pray, we're telepathically saying something to God, and it's the same method. You telepathically, it's like a prayer, and you tell them to come, and they read your mind, and they will show you.
You know, that's very interesting. We're going over to, South Carolina here, the South Carolina Research Group. Joe Kiernan's been doing a lot of work out there, capturing some amazing footage himself, and, he's not trying to call these things out. Concerned about what's going on in his neighborhood, and he's concerned that the military might be involved. And Joe Kiernan's getting a lot of material over there. And I want to welcome Joe Kiernan to the show. Joe?
Hello, Blake. How are you, pal?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Joe. You just sent us some video a few days ago. We posted it up on YouTube. People are amazed. Tell us about it.
That is incredible stuff. As you know, it keeps. The situations around here are still continuing. It's not a past tense event that we're speaking about. It is currently still occurring. There does seem to be specific areas. But with that said, there's a lot of people that are starting to come forward. There's a lot of people that were reluctant in the beginning. As we all know, we were all that way in the beginning. And we're just really trying to somehow just start a small community in regards to like a MUFON or a New Fork in a reporting sense, but in the degree that there's some way to contact the initial person that put the report in. We're sending a message, or just, the problems a lot of people are having with the other larger sites are they can read and review the reports from their area, but there's no way for them to correspond for the details. Where should they be looking? Okay, you saw him for 3 nights. Where were you? I'd like to look from that way also. Maybe I could be a second camera angle for you. All of these things that as we try to bring to light, everyone says you need more angles, you need more this. And as it turns out, there's never a perfect witness for any of this. It's just going to take a large-scale effort of awareness. And it's an understanding and an appreciation. And it seems to be a lot of people are coming out, and we're moving forward. And we have things that come about, like the footage you put on YouTube the other day, Blake. It's an amazing craft. I have no idea what it is. Of course, everyone has an opinion, and we view all of them, but we're just having a tough one. We're having a really tough time on a few of these videos. We've had three videos in particular have been cleared by 3 private agencies, and all at times the FAA and military claim no activity, no presence whatsoever, and these 3 videos come with multiple angles. So there's incredible things happening around here, and as Blake and I had discussed, Blake, we're in the process of putting up a live webcam in one of these areas that will be made available. At this time, what we're shooting for is it'll be all subscribers to the Joe Kiernan YouTube page, and the subscribers for Third Phase of the Moon page as well. So once this is up and going, and it should be online on Monday, anyone who's a subscriber to Third Phase of the Moon or Joe Kiernan on YouTube, either or, you will have full access to viewing a 24-hour webcam in one of these locations that does seem to produce major activity on average 3 times a week.
Absolutely incredible. We will be putting the link out to that live webcam, and you cannot monitor it all by yourself, Joe, and we urge the public out there to keep watching. Let us know if you see anything on this live cam, because, Myrtle Beach is a hot spot. I myself want to know what they are, figure out where they come from, whether they be military drone, whether they be secret ops, or possible aliens from other planets, keeping an eye on what we're doing down here. What do you think about that, Joe?
I'm quite interested. As you know, Blake, I'm not a speculator. This was not a hobby of mine before the lights started becoming so frequent. I couldn't help but get interested. But myself, I really can't say why or what they're doing. I can't even say for certainty what shape these are or what color they are. They seem to change so often, but there are patterns. The patterns are not in the shape and the size and the color, but the shape is in the location and the frequency and the people who are viewing them. Is there joy? Is there love? Is there anger? Is there fear? Those are the questions I have for people who are seeing them routinely. What do you feel, and what do you think that they're doing? That is more important to me than what are they, or where are they from. Those are
we got Robert Bingham,
I can find out more.
He's been doing it for over 20 years. He's seen. How many craft have you seen in your lifetime, Robert? And can you explain some of the shapes and sizes and colors?
Oh, yeah, I can. I got 20,000 photos that I haven't even published yet or put out there. I've had thousands of encounters almost daily. I never get a sense of fear from them. I get a sense that they want to help us. They want to help us prevent us destroying the planet and destroying ourselves.
Right.
And they're here for an agenda. Of course, they have an agenda, and but I don't see them being threatening as far as evil, if you want to call it that. But I always get a good feeling. But I'm going to say this too: they have ships that look aggressive. And of course, they protect the other ships, and they do have some what you might call fighter UFOs, but they don't show themselves. They rarely show themselves. I've seen them a few times. And then you have to distinguish whether it's government stuff too. There's government stuff out there. But
well, I remember in the day when both of you guys made contact at Third Phase Moon. Robert didn't go public with his abilities, and Joe Kiernan really was concerned about what was going on in his backyard, and we helped out. He made contact, started getting equipment, as well as like Robert Bingham. People started showing up with their equipment, capturing these things. Joe, can you tell us about the Discovery Channel and how that went with their visiting you over there and shooting a segment on you guys?
Yeah, sure. They were out here. It looks like at this moment the show that they were shooting is not a series yet. It will be a new series. And today, it looks like the show itself will be airing on the Animal Planet. I don't want to say the name of the show yet because that's not set in stone. But it does appear that the Discovery Channel also owns Animal Planet, but it looks like it's going to be set to air right at the end of summer, which is why they went with Animal Planet with the TV format and the scheduling. But they came out and they spent a week with me, and we went over a lot of the videos, a lot of the happenings. The
Discovery Channel was there. Were they able to see UFOs with their own eyes and their own cameras?
Well, Blake, I really can't say any of that. I really can't. I can't take anything away from what they're going to do, and I'm not bound to it by contract. This was not a paying gig. I did this to bring awareness to the area, to the happening, or bring awareness overall, to be honest with you. It's just they came with the idea of the specifics of my area. But my intentions are larger. However, I do have objectives and goals focused on my area specifically. Before I broaden my horizons, there's something going on, and we've seemed to have exhausted all of our avenues for answers from whether it be departments or three-letter acronyms or any military department or public officials, and a lot of them are involved. A lot of them are seeing these things, but no one seems to be able to put their finger on it or to lay claim on any of them. And I don't blame them. Some of them, including the videos, are quite profound and interesting. Some of them are very interesting.
We're looking at, while this show's going, we're looking at some of the amazing video coming out of Los Angeles and Myrtle Beach. Robert Bingham footage, Joe Kiernan footage, and people have shot these things in that area.
Was I just speaking with Robert?
Yes, sir, Robert Bingham. If you have any questions,
is he on air right now?
Yes.
Robert, I didn't know I was speaking with you specifically. Blake had told me you and him were exchanging communication. Blake was telling me this time around it's going to be located around the Griffith Observatory.
I want to just say something that, it's interesting that Robert Bingham is going to be having this event at Griffith Park, and we're going to give the exact location on Third Phase of Moon here in the near future, and the event's going to be happening on February 10th, 2013. Is that, Joe, that you actually, in that exact place, what happened?
In that place, in 2001, I was standing on, I'll call it sea level, but on mainland, I was probably just a block off of Hollywood Boulevard, which runs parallel with the hill, and it's basically right at the foot of the hill. In the area I was, so I was looking right at the hill, and if I lifted my head up, I could see the top of Griffith Observatory on the hilltop. But this craft, and I call it a craft, it was just a solid object. It kind of reminded me of a slab of cement, the color. It was grayish, it was dull. It appeared to be flat. It appeared to have no depth to it. It had the appearance that it looked like I was always looking at it head on. And it was a rectangular shape. And it moved from the left to the right. It was only halfway up the hill. And it went beyond the hill to the right, heading, east. And then when it came back heading towards the ocean, it had moved behind the hill, and I lost it completely. I was looking in that area because someone had called me and told me they had saw it. And I said, I have to see this for myself. And I went out to look for it. And the guys who called me, they had pulled into my driveway. And we all saw it at the same time, and a couple other neighbors. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. But it was just in the middle of the day, maybe 2 in the afternoon. Well, it's a clear day. It's Los Angeles, so a little smog. But it was absolutely incredible. And it was halfway up the hill between myself and the observatory.
Well, that's, what Robert Bingham does is he summons these in broad daylight. It's their satellites aren't visible. There's no stars to confuse what you're looking at. They're happening in the middle of the day. Police officers are on the scene. They're looking at the same object. And what's going on in Los Angeles is really incredible. And what Joe's doing over there, I really can't wait till you get your live webcam up there, Joe. And
yeah, it looks like it's going to be Monday, Blake, and I'll have all the links to you probably by tomorrow night.
That's a really good idea for people out there to set up that live webcam, because then we could feed it and get it out immediately to the people in that kind of format. It was all your idea, Third Phase of the Moon's idea to get something up. You have been doing a wonderful thing getting this information out for a lot of people. You've been an excellent platform for myself. This wasn't a hobby. This wasn't a career I was in prior. So I had to use a lot of avenues, and you fulfilled a lot of needs for me. And as we discussed, Blake, I will never forget that. And you were always the first one I go to for everything that breaks through here. Wow, Joe. Yeah, when we get a Skype from Joe Kiernan, and he has some new footage, we at the Third Phase of Moon teams get excited because we never know what we're going to see, and usually it turns out to be something that I've never seen before, nobody's seen before, and something unusual is going on over there. Can you tell us about that?
Usually why you get that crazy audio that comes out of my mouth also.
Oh, yeah, the grammar that you use is quite eloquent.
I'm a well-spoken guy, but at times they're so overwhelming. A lot of the four-letter words just fly out. Yeah, it's overwhelming, and it's just fantastic. And sorry about the audio if it offends anybody, but it's just amazing, and things just fly out when you're seeing things incredible. So, Robert, what can you tell me about? I was going to say solid white orbs, but more particularly, I'm interested in these white flashing ones that when they get over particular bodies of water, one of them being the ocean, that they will glow orange and take off away from me at an incredible rate of speed, one after the next. They appear to be several orange things combined together.
Well, the white orbs can turn green, they can turn purple, they can turn orange, yellow. But I think there's some type of. I've developed like a code with them, some type of communication with the colors that they come to me. And, but as far as them, I've always said they manipulate the spectrum of the sun and the rays that come out of the sun. But I believe they're able to use it 24/7. There's no special time to it. They're able to manipulate the sun, and the sun does a lot more than just give us light. It has so much to these rays.
They use the energy more than the light itself. They're
the
using
rays
energy.
Of the sun is more like I would say the sun is like a mainframe computer.
Yeah.
It throws out the data, and they manipulate it, and they do what they want. And the sun is like the big boss.
I can see that a little bit, Robert. I know a lot of people just think the sun is two things. They think it's light and heat. They don't understand. There's a lot more going on. There's a lot of energy.
A lot more going on. I have photos of a UFO that I got the photos. I've never made them public, but you can see where the UFO manipulates the rays of the sun.
Wow. I believe that. Yeah, I do believe the heat and the light is really just a side effect, if you will, of the sun. They're just their benefit. You know, that of course are important for life here.
Yeah, it has codes for everything, and they know how to manipulate that spectrum and that ray that comes out of the sun, and they actually can grow in size or shrink in size. They can do all sorts of things with it.
But, you know, I do believe that it is completely possible, whether I'm speaking of UFOs or ghosts or anything for that matter, to exist on a different dimension. I'm not an expert on the field, but I'm certain there are more. I believe that there's 7 that I had learned of through physics, and we can only see in 3D, you and I. There are a lot of animals that can only see in 2D. That we know of, there's no 4D. We only know of 3 because that's what we know. That's what we see. There are people and animals that are colorblind. There are ringers for cell phones that children can hear that adults can't because we lose that sound at the age of 20, 25. We lose that noise. There are a lot of variations that we have right here between us. I do believe that going from dimension to dimension is completely possible. I believe that if there is such thing as a 4th dimension beyond our 3, that means it could be present at all times, and I have no idea how to see it. If I only saw in 2D and something was 3D and it had depth, I would have no fucking idea.
Can you tell me about some of the experiences that people close to you have seen since you've been seeing these lights in the skies, and what do they think about the whole situation?
Well, first we have a lot of people that are just very excited, usually the first-timers, very excited, and they really just want to tell their story, and that's cool. There's a lot that comes out of it. There's a lot of patterns. Then there's a lot of people who've seen them a few times and have pictures and videos and are interested, but just still a little skeptical to come forward and really do something about it or to be helpful. They just want to pay attention and and catch the news. And it's the people that want to come forward and have been more or less contacted, where they're seeing them regularly. There are a group of people. I'm at about, I have 22 people that had contacted me on their own without me looking for them. These 22 people specifically, in their contacts, they all got me through email, all said the same thing, more or less an incredible story, that they're seeing them routinely several times a week in the same spot, and they all feel that these lights have a particularly, they are particularly interested in either themselves or their house. And it's astounding because I've never asked anybody those questions. These people have all come to me saying, I see these things so frequently in the same spot right outside my house, and every time I look at it, they move behind trees, or they get down low, or they shoot off over here, and I always catch them looking at me. They all describe it almost as a game of peekaboo, and I can relate to that very well. So those are my primary interests, speaking to those people, because the patterns for all of those people are all completely immaculate. They all tell the same exact story. They all tell the same story on the frequency of the sightings, how long they last, what they're doing, what they're experiencing, what they're feeling. They all do feel empathy for them. They do feel a physical, emotional draw, whether it's coming from the lights or to the lights from them.
I want to ask you this. After a UFO sighting, people talk about the men in black, or, some kind of government kind of a, presence after the sighting. I know some of the videos you've given us, massive, military choppers are flying over your homes after these sightings. Has any MIB action happened in your neighborhood?
No, absolutely not at all. No, absolutely zero sign of military presence on the ground that I can say. They are definitely present in the air. Sometimes immediately after the event, and sometimes the military jets are what causes the event to end. That was in the beginning when I started seeing these regularly, and there was a few people I was calling that I thought were helpful, and I would call and say, hey, I'm watching these beautiful lights again, and I told you where I'm standing, and it was 3 or 4 times consecutively I made that call, and it only took 12 or 15 minutes for jets to arrive and chase them off, and I stopped calling that number. And the jets still come, but not as often, and usually when it's on the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th straight night. The military definitely has responded. They most likely won't admit to it, but Blake, as you know, I speak about an immediate location. I'm not talking about a county. I go and stand in the same exact spot, and there's only a couple of trees in my spot. And after days of seeing these, the military will come with many helicopters, circle these exact trees, and there's a tiny little area just 50 feet off the ground, and have many other low-flying planes just looking like they're gritting. A lot of times it looks like they're looking for something. I constantly think I see so many of these lights so low to the ground. I don't know if one's gone down, but I can tell you this, I see them come to and from the ground, or more importantly, I really think that they might even be going into water, but I can't say that for sure. I've seen them what appears to be on the surface of water. I've seen them above water. I've seen them hovering for 3-4 straight minutes at just 20 feet over the water, maybe 15 feet at its lowest, and the top of it maybe 20 feet above that. And that's not a one-time thing either. And the military comes. They're doing whatever they're doing. I have no idea. But it still continues. And in the beginning, when this all started, I was unsure if the military even knew that these things were really even happening, because they were happening so frequently and no one seemed to care. No one did anything about it, and it wasn't until they started coming much closer to my house, much lower, and I'm a family man, and people started getting a little nervous, and then when the military says I'm not seeing any lights at all, and they're right outside my house, and I'm recording them, and many of us are, and my whole family watches them, it's kind of hard to say there's nothing there when I record them from multiple angles many, many, many times. I've sent photographs to all interested parties through all phases of the authorities of daytime and nighttime pictures and day and night videos and things going to and from aircraft. I've sent some pretty incredibly anomalous photos and videos of things during the day that no one seems to have any idea what they are. And again, I'm not really trying to find out what they are or where they come from. There's a lot of other questions I have before that. I don't feel threatened. I don't feel worried. The only times I feel threatened is when jets chase these things at an incredibly low altitude. And this is a residential area. I do not live in a test range. This is not the Nevada desert. This is a major tourist destination, and I live in an immediate residential community.
Right there in Los Angeles is going to be holding the event February 10th at the Griffith Park in Los Angeles at 11 a.m. It's free to the public. I suggest everybody go check out UFO Robert Bingham's YouTube channel to look at some of his amazing catches and show up. Thanks a lot, Robert Bingham.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Robert. It was a pleasure meeting you and talking with you, sir. Thank you, Blake. It's always a pleasure. I'll do anything this topic, what you've done for me with Third Phase of the Moon. Thank you very much, sir.
Everybody that's watching this video and listening right now, we're going to be putting the link below in the description to visit Joe Kiernan's channel on YouTube, and you better subscribe because you never know what he's going to shoot. And speaking of military, we've just received an amazing video from a source of this secret military base, presumed, of a massive craft in the sky with spotlights on it. We're going to be putting it up on Third Phase of the Moon here tonight, an exclusive video. It's going to knock everybody's socks off. This is something very unusual. We don't know what the military is doing. And if anybody out there has captured anything amazing, you send it to us via Skype or Facebook. My name's Blake Cousins, and we'll see you again
Third
next time.
phase of the moon.